Contrasting effects of music on reading comprehension in pre-adolescents with and without ADHD, article written by Magyar et al., presented by Aaron Krause, Jenna Hafner, and Caitlin Granite. Many professionals assert that environments devoid of external stimuli are often unnecessary to facilitate optimal learning conditions. This study was designed to explore whether increasing the perceptual load of the late selection mechanism would give similar results. Important terms to note are early selection mechanisms, which mean intentionally choosing the target stimulus. Late selection mechanisms refer to the dominant stimulus that governs attention. Increased perception of early selection stimulus result in a decreased likelihood that late selected stimulus are perceived. It has also been suggested that for children with ADHD, it is more difficult to initiate the inhibition process rather than execute an inhibition once it has commenced. Low heart rate variability means your body has a lack of resilience to cope with the fight or flight responses of the automatic nervous system and occurs in those with ADHD. This increases stress and decreases task performance. The hypothesis is that participants with a smaller decrease in mean levels of heart rate variability under music conditions would improve their performance compared to those with a larger decrease in mean levels of heart rate variability, regardless of an ADHD diagnosis. Pre-adolescents with ADHD would have a smaller decrease in mean levels of heart rate variability under background music conditions compared with typically developed peers.
The methods section contained a sample of pre-adolescent boys in the 6th and 7th grade that were diagnosed with ADHD. The control group consisted of boys who were typically developed peers as well. Inclusion criteria for the ADHD group did not have any learning disorders. There were 2 phases in this study. In phase 1, participants sat in front of a computer screen in a quiet room with a research assistant. They were guided to read out loud short text under 4 conditions: without music, with calm music without lyrics, with calm music that included lyrics, and rhythmic music that included lyrics as well. It is worth mentioning participants wore headphones with active noise cancellation. In phase 2, however, participants included pre-adolescents with ADHD and a control group with no significant age or gender differences. The recruitment and experimental procedures were closely mirrored those of phase 1. Heart rate variability, or HRV, was assessed to gain deeper insights. The HRV was measured using an FDA-approved portable monitor that was recorded before and after each experimental condition.
The study found that pre-adolescents with ADHD exhibited increased reading comprehension and decreased heart rate variability in the presence of music. On the other hand, typically developing pre-adolescents exhibited decreased reading comprehension in the presence of music and showed no change in heart rate variability. The findings supported the hypothesis that reading with background music increased reading comprehension for pre-adolescents with ADHD, but decreased reading comprehension in typically developing pre-adolescents.
The real-world implications of this study can provide tailored learning environments. This study suggests there is no one-size-fits-all approach to creating an optimal learning environment for pre-adolescents with ADHD. Some individuals with ADHD may benefit from the presence of background music during reading tasks. Parental guidance. The research could provide valuable insights for parents of children with ADHD. They might consider the impact of background music on their child's concentration when creating study environments at home. Lastly, for pre-adolescents, incorporating background music during reading tasks may be a useful strategy to improve attention and reading comprehension. This study is sound and valid, as it exhibited a controlled experimental design with 2 phases, involving participants with and without ADHD. This design is sound for investigating the effects of background music on reading comprehension. The study also has a reasonable sample size with 20 participants in phase 1 and 50 in phase 2. The study measures heart rate variability as an objective physiological indicator which can add depth to the study of emotional arousal. This idea also enhances construct validity since it utilizes multiple measures.
These are our discussion questions. How have you experienced music help or hinder your reading ability? For example, doing homework at a coffee shop or listening to study music. In the context of education accommodations, what are some other environmental factors that may impact the learning experiences of students with ADHD or other attention-related challenges?